Welcome to The Story Keeper. Today we delve into a complex and evolving narrative that intertwines history, politics, and the quest for sovereignty. Our focus is on the recent diplomatic tensions between France and Burkina Faso, particularly surrounding an alleged plea from French President Emmanuel Macron to Burkina Faso's leader, Ibrahim Traore, to allow French forces back into the country. In 2025, the relationship between France and Burkina Faso has reached a boiling point. Macron's comments suggesting that African nations have forgotten the military support provided by France have sparked outrage. Burkina Faso's leadership has responded with strong criticism, accusing Macron of embodying a neo-colonial attitude that undermines African sovereignty. This tension is not just a political issue, it reflects a deeper historical context. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has a legacy of colonialism that continues to shape its identity and governance. As we explore this story, we will uncover the layers of history, the rise of new leadership, and the implications of Macron's alleged plea. Join us as we navigate through the intricate web of Franco-Burkinabe relations, examining the past, the present, and what the future may hold for these two nations. In this first segment, we will set the stage by exploring the historical context that has led to the current diplomatic crisis. To understand the current tensions between France and Burkina Faso, we must first look back at the history that binds them. Burkina Faso, formerly known as Upper Volta, was a French colony from the late 19th century until it gained independence in 1960. This colonial past has left a lasting impact on the nation's political landscape and its relationship with France. Independence was a moment of great pride for the Burkinabe people, but it did not mark the end of French influence. For decades, France maintained a strong presence in the region, often intervening in local politics under the guise of protecting its interests. This led to a series of coups and political instability, with France frequently accused of meddling in Burkina Faso's affairs. One of the most significant figures in Burkina Faso's history is Thomas Sankara, who came to power in 1983. Sankara was a revolutionary leader who sought to break free from neo-colonial ties and promote self-sufficiency. His policies aimed at reducing foreign dependence and empowering the Burkinabe people, but his assassination in 1987 marked a turning point, leading to a return to more pro-French leadership. In recent years, the Burkinabe people have grown increasingly disillusioned with foreign influence, particularly from France. The rise of extremist groups in the Sahel region has complicated matters, with France deploying troops to combat terrorism. However, this military presence has been met with mixed reactions, as many Burkinabe citizens feel that it infringes on their sovereignty. As we move forward in this narrative, we will see how these historical dynamics have set the stage for the current diplomatic crisis. The relationship between France and Burkina Faso is not just about politics. It is a reflection of a long-standing struggle for identity, autonomy, and respect. Social media erupted with backlash, as many viewed Macron's comments as a reflection of a neo-colonial mindset. Critics argued that such statements undermine the sovereignty of African nations and dismiss the sacrifices made in the struggle for independence. In Burkina Faso, the response was particularly intense, with citizens expressing their anger through protests and public demonstrations. In interviews with local activists and political analysts, local activist says that Macron's words are a reminder of the colonial past, that many of us are trying to move beyond. It feels like he is saying that we owe France something, when in reality, we are striving for our own identity and autonomy. Political analyst remarks that Macron's comments reveal a disconnect between French leadership and the realities on the ground in Africa. Many leaders in the region are pushing back against foreign influence, and Macron's remarks only serve to fuel that fire. Burkina Faso's leadership, particularly under President Ibrahim Traore, has been vocal in its criticism of Macron's remarks. Traore has positioned himself as a champion of national sovereignty, advocating for a break from the historical ties that have often constrained the country's development. In response to Macron's comments, Traore stated that Burkina Faso is not a country that should be dictated to by former colonial powers. He emphasized the importance of self-determination and the need for African nations to chart their own paths without external interference. The public sentiment in Burkina Faso reflects a growing desire for independence from French influence. Many citizens are calling for a re-evaluation of the military agreements and partnerships that have historically tied their nation to France. This growing nationalism is a significant factor in the current diplomatic crisis. As we move forward, we will explore the implications of Macron's controversial remarks and how they have set the stage for a diplomatic crisis that could reshape the future of Franco-Burkinabe relations. Under Traore's leadership, Burkina Faso has also sought to strengthen ties with other African nations, fostering a sense of solidarity and cooperation. This shift is part of a broader movement across the continent, where leaders are increasingly advocating for African solutions to African problems. Traore's vision for Burkina Faso includes not only a focus on national security, but also economic independence. He has called for investments in local industries and agriculture, aiming to reduce reliance on foreign aid and imports. This approach resonates with many Burkinabe citizens who are eager for sustainable development and job creation. And interviews with local business owners discussing the impact of Traore's policies. Local business owner says that, with Traore in power, we feel hopeful. He talks about supporting local businesses and creating jobs. We want to build our economy from within, not depend on foreign powers. Traore's rise has not been without challenges. The security situation in Burkina Faso remains precarious, with ongoing threats from extremist groups. However, his administration has faced criticism for its handling of these issues, with some citizens questioning whether the military approach is effective. Despite these challenges, Traore's commitment to sovereignty and independence has garnered him significant support. Many Burkinabe people see him as a leader who is willing to stand up to foreign powers and prioritize their interests. This sentiment has only intensified in light of Macron's controversial remarks, further solidifying Traore's position as a champion of national pride. As tensions rise between France and Burkina Faso, the diplomatic crisis reaches a critical juncture. The backdrop of Macron's controversial remarks has set the stage for a confrontation that could redefine the future of Franco-Burkinabe relations. In the wake of Macron's comments, Burkina Faso's leadership has taken a firm stance against French influence. President Traore's administration has called for a re-evaluation of military agreements and partnerships, signaling a desire for greater autonomy in foreign policy decisions. Interviews with diplomats and political analysts discussing the implications of the crisis. Diplomat remarks that This is a pivotal moment for Burkina Faso. Traoré's government is asserting its independence, and the response from France will be crucial. If Macron fails to acknowledge the concerns of the Burkinabe people, it could lead to a complete breakdown in relations. Political analyst remarks that the diplomatic crisis is not just about military presence, it's about respect and recognition. Burkina Faso wants to be treated as an equal partner, not a former colony. This is a fundamental shift in the narrative. The public sentiment in Burkina Faso is palpable. Protests have erupted across the country, with citizens demanding an end to French military operations and a re-evaluation of the historical ties that have often constrained their sovereignty. The call for independence resonates deeply, as many Burkinabe people seek to reclaim their narrative. Traoré, addressing to the nation, emphasizing the need for unity. In response to the growing unrest, Traoré has called for national unity. He emphasizes that the fight for sovereignty is not just a political issue, it is a matter of national pride. His administration is working to engage with citizens, listening to their concerns and aspirations. Community engagement has become a cornerstone of Traoré's leadership. By fostering dialogue with citizens, he aims to build a sense of collective purpose and resilience. This approach not only strengthens his position, but also empowers the Burkinabe people to take an active role in shaping their future. Meanwhile, President Macron has been engaging in diplomatic efforts with other European leaders, seeking to rally support for France's position in West Africa. He emphasizes the importance of stability in the region and the role of French military presence in combating terrorism. However, these efforts are met with skepticism, as many view them as an attempt to maintain influence rather than genuinely address the concerns of African nations. An interview with European diplomats discussing the situation. European diplomat says that Macron's approach is complicated. While he seeks to maintain France's strategic interests, he must also recognize the changing dynamics in Africa. The voices of leaders like Traoré cannot be ignored, and any attempt to dismiss their concerns will only exacerbate tensions. The security situation in Burkina Faso remains precarious, with ongoing threats from extremist groups. The French military has been involved in operations to combat these threats, but the effectiveness of this approach is increasingly questioned. Many Burkinabe citizens feel that foreign military presence does not address the root causes of insecurity and may even contribute to local resentment. Community leaders discussing security and foreign influence. Community leader says that we need solutions that come from within our communities. Foreign military presence cannot solve our problems. We must build our own capacity to address security challenges. In light of these sentiments, Traoré's administration is exploring alternatives to foreign military support. This includes strengthening local security forces and fostering regional cooperation with neighboring countries. The goal is to create a sustainable security framework that respects Burkina Faso's sovereignty. Regional cooperation is becoming increasingly important as Burkina Faso seeks to address security challenges collaboratively. By working with neighboring nations, Traoré aims to create a united front against extremism, while asserting Burkina Faso's independence from external military influence. As the diplomatic crisis unfolds, Macron faces pressure from both domestic and international audiences. He must navigate the delicate balance between maintaining France's historical ties to Africa and acknowledging the growing calls for independence from former colonies. The stakes are high, and the outcome of this crisis could reshape the future of Franco-Burkinabe relations. In the midst of escalating tensions, reports emerged that President Macron made a desperate plea to President Ibrahim Traore, requesting the re-establishment of French military presence in Burkina Faso. This plea reflects the urgency of the situation and the complexities of international relations. Sources indicate that Macron's request was not merely about military strategy. It was also a recognition of the strategic importance of Burkina Faso in the fight against terrorism in the Sahel region. With extremist groups gaining ground, France views its military presence as essential to maintaining stability. An interview with military analysts discussing the implications of French military presence. Military analyst says that France has invested significant resources in the Sahel, and losing access to Burkina Faso would be a major setback. Macron's plea underscores the precariousness of the situation and the need for a collaborative approach to security. However, the request for French troops to return is met with skepticism by Traore and his administration. The Burkinabe leadership is acutely aware of the historical context and the sentiments of their citizens, who are increasingly resistant to foreign military presence. Traore's administration has made it clear that any military cooperation must respect Burkina Faso's sovereignty. He has emphasized the importance of building a national security framework that does not rely on foreign troops, but rather empowers local forces to take charge of their own security. To this end, Traore's government is investing in community-based security initiatives, fostering trust between citizens and local law enforcement. This approach not only addresses security concerns, but also reinforces the idea of self-reliance and national pride. By empowering local communities to take charge of their own safety, Traore is sending a clear message. Burkina Faso will no longer be dependent on foreign military forces. Local security training programs are being implemented, where community members are trained to respond to threats and support their neighbors. This grassroots approach not only enhances security, but also builds a sense of unity and resilience among the population. Back in France, Macron's advisors are acutely aware of the challenges posed by Traore's stance. They understand that any attempt to pressure Burkina Faso into accepting French troops could backfire, further alienating the Burkinabe people and jeopardizing France's influence in the region. Ahad interviews with French political analysts discussing Macron's predicament. French political analyst says that Macron is in a difficult position. He needs to maintain France's strategic interests in West Africa, but he must also navigate the growing anti-French sentiment. If he pushes too hard, he risks losing not just Burkina Faso, but potentially other allies in the region as well. In response to the mounting pressure, Macron has begun to shift his rhetoric. He emphasizes the importance of partnership and cooperation with African nations, acknowledging their right to self-determination. However, many remain skeptical of his sincerity, given the historical context of French colonialism. Traore's firm stance on sovereignty resonates with the Burkinabe people, who are increasingly vocal about their desire for independence from foreign influence. His administration has made it clear that any military cooperation with France must be based on mutual respect and recognition of Burkina Faso's autonomy. The public sentiment is clear. The Burkinabe people want to reclaim their narrative and assert their identity on the global stage. Macron's plea for military support is seen as a challenge to this newfound sense of agency, and Traoré's response will be crucial in determining the future of Franco-Burkinabe relations. As Burkina Faso navigates this diplomatic crisis, Traoré is also seeking to strengthen ties with other African nations. By fostering regional cooperation, he aims to create a united front that prioritizes African solutions to African problems, further diminishing the influence of former colonial powers. In the face of Macron's plea, President Ibrahim Traore has responded with a resolute commitment to Burkina Faso's sovereignty. His administration's stance is clear. Burkina Faso will not be dictated to by foreign powers, and any military cooperation must respect the nation's autonomy. Traoré's response is not just a political statement. It reflects the aspirations of a nation that has long sought to break free from the shackles of colonialism. His administration is actively working to redefine Burkina Faso's foreign policy, prioritizing partnerships that respect the country's independence. And interviews with political analysts discussing Traoré's leadership style. Political analyst says that Traoré's leadership is characterized by a strong emphasis on national pride and self-determination. He understands that the Burkinabe people are looking for a leader who will stand up for their rights and interests, and he is positioning himself as that leader. The public support for Traoré's stance is palpable. Citizens are rallying behind their leader, expression. Burkina Faso citizens are increasingly vocal about their views on foreign influence, particularly in light of Macron's controversial remarks and Traoré's firm stance on sovereignty. Protests have erupted across the country, with citizens taking to the streets to express their frustration and anger. Many Burkinabe people feel that Macron's comments reflect a patronizing attitude towards African nations, and they are determined to assert their right to self-determination. In interviews with protesters sharing their thoughts on the situation, protester cried loudly that, "We are tired of being treated as if we owe something to France. We fought for our independence, and we will not allow anyone to undermine that struggle." Some protesters shouting that Macron's words were disrespectful. "We are a proud nation, and we deserve to be treated with dignity. We want our leaders to stand up for us." The public sentiment is not just limited to protests. It is also reflected in community discussions and town hall meetings. Citizens are engaging in conversations about their future, exploring what true independence means for Burkina Faso. A community leader facilitating a discussion on national identity and sovereignty. Community leader says that we need to come together as a nation and define our own path. It is time for us to take control of our destiny and build a future that reflects our values and aspirations. Social media has become a powerful platform for expressing dissent and solidarity. Hashtags calling for independence and sovereignty are trending as citizens share their thoughts and experiences. This digital activism is amplifying the voices of those who demand change. An interview with young activists discussing the role of social media in the movement. Young activist says that while social media allows us to connect and organize, we can share our stories and show the world that we are united in our fight for independence. It is empowering to see so many people standing up for our rights. In response to the growing public sentiment, Traoré's administration is actively engaging with citizens. Town hall meetings and community forums are being held to listen to the concerns of the people and to foster a sense of collective purpose. Traore addressing a crowd, emphasizing the importance of unity and resilience. Traore says that we are all in this together. Our strength lies in our unity. We must work hand in hand to build a Burkina Faso that reflects our values and aspirations. Together, we will reclaim our narrative. The public's reaction is not just about resistance, it is also about resilience. Citizens are coming together to support one another, engaging in community initiatives that promote self-sufficiency and empowerment. This grassroots movement is a testament to the strength of the Burkinabe people. Local businesses are experiencing a resurgence as citizens rally around the idea of supporting homegrown initiatives. By prioritizing local products and services, the Burkinabe people are taking tangible steps toward economic independence. An interview with local entrepreneurs discussing the impact of community support. Local entrepreneur says that the support from our community has been incredible. People are choosing to buy local, and that makes a difference. We are building a stronger economy together. Macron's plea for military support and Traore's firm response have set the stage for a pivotal moment in Franco-Burkinabe relations. The outcome of this crisis will depend on how both leaders navigate the delicate balance between historical ties and the aspirations of a new generation seeking independence. Interviews with political analysts discussing potential scenarios for the future. Political analyst says that the future of Franco-Burkinabe relations is uncertain. If Macron can adapt his approach and genuinely engage with Traore's administration, there may be a path forward. However, if he continues to push for military presence without addressing the underlying issues, it could lead to further estrangement. The second political analyst says that, on the other hand, Traore's leadership is a double-edged sword. While he has significant public support, he must also manage the expectations of his citizens. If he appears too accommodating to France, he risks losing credibility among those who demand complete independence. The Burkinabe people are at a crossroads. The desire for independence is palpable, and the current generation is determined to reclaim their narrative. This sentiment is not just about rejecting foreign influence. It is about embracing a future that reflects their values, culture, and aspirations. An interview, a community leader says that, "We are proud of our heritage and we want to build a future that honors our history. It is essential for us to define our own identity and not let others dictate who we are." A regional cooperation meetings among African leaders, emphasizing solidarity. Burkina Faso's future may also lie in strengthening ties with other African nations. As Traore seeks to foster regional cooperation, there is potential for a united front that prioritizes African solutions to African problems. This shift could redefine the geopolitical landscape in West Africa. To interviews with regional leaders discussing the importance of collaboration. Regional leader says that, "We must work together as African nations. Our strength lies in our unity. By collaborating, we can address our challenges and create a brighter future for our people." The youth of Burkina Faso are particularly influential in shaping the future. With a strong desire for change and empowerment, they are actively participating in community initiatives and advocating for policies that reflect their aspirations. This generation is determined to take charge of their destiny. To interviews with young activists discussing their vision for the future. Young activist says that We want to create a Burkina Faso that is self-sufficient and proud. We are ready to take action and make our voices heard. The future is ours to shape. Education and empowerment are key components of this vision. By investing in the youth, Burkina Faso can cultivate a generation of leaders who are equipped to navigate the complexities of international relations while prioritizing national interests. As both leaders move forward, the potential for dialogue and cooperation remains. Macron must recognize the changing dynamics in Africa and adapt his approach to foster mutual respect. Traore, on the other hand, must balance the aspirations of his people with the realities of international diplomacy. The future of Franco-Burkinabe relations will ultimately depend on the willingness of both nations to engage in a respectful dialogue that acknowledges the past while looking toward a shared future. The path forward may be fraught with challenges, but it also holds the promise of a new chapter in their relationship. President Ibrahim Traore's rise to power represents a significant shift in Burkina Faso's political landscape. His commitment to sovereignty and national pride resonates deeply with the Burkinabe people, who are eager to reclaim their narrative and assert their identity on the global stage. The public's reaction to Macron's remarks and the subsequent diplomatic crisis highlight a growing desire for independence and self-determination. The grassroots movements emerging across Burkina Faso are a testament to the resilience and determination of its citizens. By prioritizing local initiatives and fostering community engagement, the Burkinabe people are taking tangible steps toward building a future that reflects their values and aspirations. This shift towards self-reliance is not just about rejecting foreign influence. It is about embracing a future that is authentically Burkinabe. Moreover, the potential for regional cooperation among African nations presents an opportunity for Burkina Faso to redefine its role in the geopolitical landscape. By fostering solidarity and collaboration with neighboring countries, Traore's administration can work towards addressing common challenges and promoting stability in the region. This united front could serve as a powerful counterbalance to external pressures and influence. In interviews with citizens discussing their hopes for the future, some citizens replied that we want to build a Burkina Faso that is strong and independent. We are ready to work together to create a better future for our children. The youth of Burkina Faso play a crucial role in shaping the future. Their energy, creativity, and determination are essential in driving change and fostering a sense of national pride. As we reflect on the current state of Franco-Burkinabe relations, it is evident that dialogue and mutual respect are essential for moving forward. Macron's plea for military support and Traore's firm response highlight the complexities of post-colonial relationships. Both leaders must recognize the importance of engaging in a respectful dialogue that acknowledges the past while looking toward a shared future. The future of this relationship will depend on the willingness of both nations to engage in constructive conversations that prioritize the needs and aspirations of the Burkinabe people. In conclusion, the story of Burkina Faso and its relationship with France is a reflection of a broader struggle for identity and autonomy in a post-colonial world. As the Burkinabe people continue to assert their rights and redefine their narrative, they remind us all of the importance of self-determination and the power of unity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through The Story Keeper. Until next time, Let us continue to explore the stories that shape our world.